What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome to the RNEWS Morning Show. And let's just jump into it. From r/politics, Trump said, "I like taking the guns early, not Harris." Facebook posts claim that Sen. Kamala Harris said, "I like taking the guns early." She didn't say that, but President Donald Trump did. Newsflash: Trump doesn't care about guns. Only the votes of gun owners. I know this is shocking to conservatives, but they'll just ignore it like they're doing with COVID. Trump cares about the Second Amendment in the same way Ellen DeGeneres dances to hip-hop for old suburban white moms. Trump signed more gun control legislation than Obama, lol. The one thing that never makes me less sick each time he does it is bring up the guns. He knows that telling a Republican somebody is going to take your guns is like dangling keys in front of a toddler. He says it with such glee and pride too, like he knows his base are morons and it's just a phrase to control them. Each time he brings up repealing the Second Amendment, it makes me feel sad for the Democrats because it stokes hatred over a lie. And it makes me feel sad for Republicans because it's so obvious he's manipulating them and they can't see it. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. Judge orders U.S. Postal Service to treat all election mail as first class or priority. CBC News. Mail carrier checking in, at least in my office. We've always had to treat political mail as first class. Can't curtail it. Gotta go the day we get it. Etc. At least out here in Western CO we don't frick with political mail. Edit. This blew up more than I ever could have imagined. Guys, us mail carriers want a fair election as much as all of you do. And we're doing everything we can to ensure it. If you want to thank your mail carrier for everything they do, a cold bottle of water or a popsicle on a hot day really means a lot to us. Just thanking us means a lot to us. We hear, "I don't want it" if it's a bill, all the time. We don't choose what you receive. We just bring it to you. Oh, and make sure to vote if you're in the US. Even if you don't trust us. Mask up, glove up, head to the polls, stay safe. But don't be silenced, regardless of where your political beliefs lie. Agree with our system or not. There are entire countries of people out there whose voices can't be heard. Make sure yours is. Same out here in the Northeast, we've always been told to treat political, election, anything they might be election or political mailings as first class. Always. Also in the Northeast, although that's not what our area is called now since they merged all 7 of our national areas into, what? 3. Any district wants us to take freaking pictures of the election mail letters that come in and send the images to them. Are you freaking serious? Now I'm wasting 2+ hours a day doing this horseshit. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Trump could be investigated for tax fraud, DA says for first time. Could be less than where we are, should be, will be as being less than where we need to be. Could be less than where we are, should be less than where we always are. With Trump, will be as being less than where we probably also are. Will be less than where we have been staying every damn day. To be or not to be, less than the question. So, where does this leave us? Trump will do literally anything, including killing all of us, to stay president as a measure of protection from going to jail for tax fraud. Now I see why it's unthinkable for him to release his tax returns. Not sure which is worse, this, or his sexual assault, rape history, or having a president that is owned by Putin via compromat. That doesn't even get into his white supremacy or immigrant treatment and God knows what else. This country is so corrupt, locking up people for some herb, but letting crooks like this walk around in daylight continuing to loot the people. Effed up. And rape them. Yay, go for it, we're all waiting, dude. I used to get excited about this kind of news, but I'm way too disenchanted at this point. Trump has proven so greasy I fear the law will never get a hold of him. I have no idea how the users who frequent this sub aren't exhausted at this point. It has been almost 4 years of this. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. China forces 500,000 Tibetans into labor camps. And just like always, the international community was outraged but too scared to do anything about it. Western countries aren't scared of China but put money first. It's like people forget they have nukes. There's only so much you can do. No different from Saudi Arabia, Africa, India, Korea. Africa is a continent. Hey look, another story about China committing crimes that nobody's going to do anything about. Yeah, because yet again the only source is Adrian Zen's money greater than morals. Tale as old as time. Slightly newer is a tale of not invading a country because we don't want to get nuked in response. Fricking buttholes. Ah yes, Adrian Zen's the household name that invokes trust about anything China related. Of fricking course it's him, every time. The atheists of Reddit suddenly start believing in religious fanatics when it comes to hating China. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. Ginsburg will become the first woman in history to lie in state in U.S. Capitol. I think plenty of people have lied in the U.S. Capitol. That is exactly how I read this title and I was like fricking what? I really honest to God, interpreted this title as, she lied about being dead. Frick it, I'll take it. What would you want people to say about you at your funeral? For me, it's look he's moving. Quote. We've had both John Lewis and RBG lying in state in 2020. While I'm beyond glad both have received the honor and recognition for their contribution to true equality for all, it's still crappy that we've lost both of them in such a short amount of time. Man, with all my heart, frick 2020. What a god-awful, terrible, miserable fricking year, for each and every one of us. I thought Ginsburg was Jewish. IIRC. Judaism requires burial within 24 hours and forbids embalming. How is this supposed to work? Ginsburg was not particularly religious. Unless you are Orthodox, the 24 hours thing is more of a suggested target to aim for instead of a hard rule. Yea, not all Jews are that Jewish. Many Jews are merely Jewish. I want her face on $100 bill so I can use them as a fat down payment on a new car, and when I sign a loan without a man's consent I can look up to the sky and say thank RBG. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. Facebook says it will stop operating in Europe if regulators don't back down. Europe will be better off without it. Yeah, good riddance. Frick off Facebook, and take WhatsApp and Oculus with you. Nah, if the EU could force them to sell off WhatsApp that would be great. How would they force them to sell, if they leave EU? We could do what the US routinely does and threaten to sanction every company that does business with Facebook anywhere in the world. WhatsApp is an app developed in Europe that Facebook simply bought. I mean, one of its founders is a Ukrainian, but it was developed in California. At the least, do some due diligence. WhatsApp was developed by Brian Acton and Jan Koum, both Americans. Europe was not even in the neighborhood of inspiration for WhatsApp. Or we could all just move to a better app like Telegram. Edit. See the replies below my comment. Essentially it seems like Signal is probably the best option. Default E2E. Open source. Peer review. Or Signal, it's open source, encrypted and free. And endorsed by the EU as recommended communication app. What, really? Yap, join up.ec.europa.eu. Lucky Europe. As a European, this brings me hope for a brighter future. Do it, motherfricker, pull the freaking trigger. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.